Let's begin our practice today just by listening to the body, seeing if there's parts of the body that need to be stretched, that need to be adjusted. Noticing the posture you're taking as you sit on your cushion or your chair or your couch, so that your feet, if you're sitting in a chair, are flat on the ground, where you can feel the floor beneath you. And if your feet are in your shoes, you can feel the sense of your shoe kind of holding the foot and your foot flat on the ground. And feeling that your hips are equally balancing your weight. So you don't want to be sinking in too far to the left or the right. But by beginning by getting a sense of our physicality, and that means rotating or stretching anything in the body that's kind of giving you indication that it might just need a little attention before we settle into our posture for our sit. And then once we feel like we're in a comfortable position, we've adjusted our clothing, we want to remember that in our practice, there are meditation practices that invite you to observe discomfort and to work with discomfort. And certainly in the cultivation of our awareness, if we experience discomfort, we want to not immediately rush to rectify it. We do want to become aware of it and notice what thoughts are attached to it, what feelings are coming up. We don't want to immediately want to fix it, but we also are not really interested in this type of practice in being uncomfortable for half an hour. That these are practices that are meant to invite greater communication between the body and being responsive to the body's needs, and to approach everything with curiosity and self-compassion. So there's no need to sit in pain and sort of feel like you're garnering something from that. Please adjust whatever needs to be adjusted as we go along. Again, you might want to give yourself a breath or two to observe what you're feeling before you make your adjustment, because oftentimes we're so quick to move out of discomfort that we miss the opportunity to learn about it and realize that we don't have to be so reactive. But please do not sit in pain. And particularly today, because we're going to be doing a somatic resourcing practice. And what that means is that, in the spirit of self-compassion, in the spirit of helping ourselves through challenging times, we have this fabulous instrument of the body that all too often, instead of listening to, we discard or we push through or we ignore. And so there are ways that we can use the experiences of the body to not only alert us when we're in pain or when there's something that needs to be fixed, but also as a means of soothing and comfort, much aligned with self-compassion practices. So to begin our practice today, let's just start by rotating our shoulders back. That allows the heart area to open up. And let's just drop in and begin perhaps with maybe 2 or 3 kind of exaggerated breaths. Allowing yourself to feel the fullness of each inhalation. And then on the exhalation, inviting a little release, a little softening, maybe a little letting go of tension. And as we're exaggerating our breath, we're really just getting in touch with our own physicality. We're feeling the expansion of the chest. We're feeling the rise and fall of the belly and the shrug of the shoulders. We're feeling our body at work. We're dropping out of the thinking mind into this experience of the body. And then just letting our breathing fall back into its natural rhythm. And you may notice that the mind is like trying to control what the natural rhythm is when we go from this kind of contrived breathing. And then I'm like, oh, just go back to your natural breathing. That's not quite so easy. So it may take you a few breaths to fall into your natural rhythm without trying to manipulate it in some way. So just letting our awareness sort of transition away from the thinking mind and allow it to rest in the experiences of the body right now, just becoming aware of information that the body's giving us. So we might become aware of the weight of our bodies. We might feel the pressure points beneath us where we're sitting. We might make a quick mental note, doing a kind of cursory body scan of places where the body feels tight or feels loose. And we don't have to do anything about the information we're getting. We're just sort of training the mind to get out of thought and sort of get into receiving data from the body. And as we do that, we might notice that the data that we're receiving has this overlay of I like it, I don't like it, it hurts, it feels good, I want that, I don't want that. So that's just the way we're constantly categorizing information for shortcut purposes. But let's see if instead of using all the interpretations and judgments about what we're experiencing, just for this moment, we want to start from a place where we're just having the experience. So we just notice tightness without telling ourselves a story about tightness. And we're going to move into this idea of paying attention now in a very different way, not with the neutrality, not ignoring the interpretation, but in using the experiences of the body as a resource, as a place we can turn to for comfort, for grounding when it's needed. And so now we're going to kind of do the opposite of what we tend to do in meditation, which is get underneath the judgment, get underneath the expectation. We're still going to stay out of story. We're not interested in story. We're still going to stay with the direct experience of the body. But we're going to invite ourselves into the idea of what feels nurturing, what feels pleasant, what feels soothing, and allow ourselves to explore those sensations a little bit more, a little bit of savoring of what is good, of what is right, of what feels supportive in our practice. And we'll begin just by allowing our awareness to be very expansive to the space around our bodies. And just seeing how much information can you take in from the space around your body. That might include the senses. It might include sounds that you're hearing in your environment. It might include scents, if you're burning any incense, or if you have on some cologne or perfume. So just sending out your little feelers, your little sensory feelers into the environment and noticing what are you experiencing around the body. It might be the flow of air, change in temperature. And as you take in this information, become aware of which of these experiences seem to provide some comfort in some way. Which of these experiences might be pleasant? For instance, hearing rain on the glass is something happening in the environment that I find really soothing and could just listen to for hours. Right now, I'm aware of a breeze that's moving across my arms. It feels really pleasant and refreshing. What in your experience of the environment that you're in right now feels nice? Feels like you could just rest here for hours, feeling this sensation. It's calming, soothing, refreshing. And you'll notice that your awareness, of course, will start to go any number of places, mostly in the thinking mind. And that's all right. And we may not also be terribly okay with, after all this practicing and meditation, of not having a reaction to something. The idea that, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be allowing myself to savor these sensations that feel nurturing. So we might have a little reconditioning to do in a practice where we're looking for resources from the environment. So if you find yourself getting tripped up with that, that's okay. But much as we do with the sense and savor walk in the self-compassion practices, giving yourself the moment to become so curious about whatever experience you're having right now that feels nurturing, that feels pleasant. And perhaps you've spent your time exploring one particular sensation, being really curious about that. And maybe it's been more than one sensation. Tying it to the breath, really noticing how it's different, or is it different from the inhalation to the exhalation? How does this particular sensation change from moment to moment, noticing that it's not, usually these experiences are not constant. Just really, if you will, milking the sensation for whatever goodness you can take from it. Now we're going to sort of gather in that awareness so that we're now going to work with the experiences of what is on the body. Instead of around the body, we're going to bring it in a little bit closer and just feel what sort of sensations is the body telling us about? What data are we receiving from experiences of what is on the body? For instance, we might become aware of the ways in which our clothing is touching our skin. We might notice the pressure points of the body on the cushion. We might feel the weight of our hair on our neck or shoulders, the sensation of jewelry touching us, just sort of making a quick inventory of what sensations are on the body. What experiences is the body having in relationship with what's touching it? And here again, we want to bring special awareness to those experiences that feel supportive, to those sensations that feel nurturing in some way. Perhaps we feel grounded in the exploration of our weight on the cushion. Perhaps the sensation of our clothing giving us warmth feels comforting. Just allowing ourselves to turn our attention and curiosity to these pleasant sensations, to savoring them and noticing how they make us feel. How are they supportive to us? How do they nurture us? And we want to be careful not to get into story, but to try to stay with the direct experience. And if your mind has started down some rabbit hole, that's okay, because we know that's the mind's thing. It likes to do that. But the second you've caught that you're really not staying with the somatic experience, just bringing yourself back to this present moment experience. And the reason we work with the body so much is that the body is always in the present. The mind likes to wander into the past or the future, but our body is always a great anchor, because when we come back to the body, we are coming back to this moment, to this breath, to this experience. So if you've wandered off, just coming back to what feels supportive and nurturing to you right now about the experience of the relationship your body is having with something that it's in contact with. It's possible that thing can even be itself. You may become aware of the gentle pressure between the inside of your upper arm and your chest. And you might notice feeling the breath in your arms as your chest expands and pushes against it. So it can very well be the body. It can be the comforting feeling of your hands resting in your lap and the warmth that's transferred. Or the sensation of texture beneath your fingertips. Again, just allowing yourself to notice what feels good, what feels pleasant. And now bringing our awareness even closer in, moving to the inside of the body, noticing what is pleasant that is happening in the body. So we worked around the body, we've worked on the body, and now we're shifting to what is in the body. And this could be a somatic sensation of a place that was in pain that now feels loose and easy and pain-free. Maybe it feels light. It could be that we're sensing our own digestion. Maybe we're hungry if it's around lunchtime, or maybe we just ate. Perhaps we can sense our own heartbeat or feel the rhythm of our own breath. So just noticing what information is your body giving you about what is happening on the inside. And then noticing which of these sensations are pleasant. Where do you want to linger? The experience of breath may be so life-affirming. Ah, yeah, I'm still breathing. The sensation of ease as we let go of the tension in our muscles. That might feel relieving. Where do you feel comfort? Where in this moment is your body nurturing you, soothing you? Once again, connecting with the breath, noticing how the sensation that you're exploring might be changed by the breath. Savoring every possible aspect of the experience that you're having right now. And it can be that we land on things and they provide some soothing for a short period of time. And then we may need to expand our awareness and wait for the next thing that provides comfort. So it's okay if it's not always the same thing straight through. You can shift your awareness to go to the place that feels most supportive to you in this breath. And now as we head toward transitioning out of our practice, let's just take a moment to mentally catalog what experiences we've had that have been nurturing, so that we're creating an internal inventory for times in the future when perhaps we need extra support, when we may not be feeling as grounded, when we might be feeling more dysregulated. What are the things that we found in our environment, that we found in contact with the body, and that we found within that we might be able to look to? In the future, they may be supportive, they may not, but this gives us kind of the starts of a conversation around how to resource ourselves. So just mentally going over the different things that you explored, what it felt like to slow down the experience and savor it. And now let's just expand our awareness back to feeling the entirety of the body, sitting on the couch or the chair, the cushion. Becoming aware once more of the pressure points of our butts in the chair, our feet on the floor, our hands in our lap, feeling all of those connections that we're making with furniture, with the earth. Expanding further to hear sounds in the space that we're in. And ending our practice by taking several breaths together and offering any benefit that we may have received from our work here today, from our inquiry, offering that forward to anyone in the world who is suffering right now, to anyone who may have lost their connection with themselves, who may not have easy access to forms of nurturance, to support, to groundedness. Just remembering them, opening our hearts to them, that they may also find a way to peace.